What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Joe here from Lazy Lab Acres, and this is going to be my 2023 shop tour. So for those of you with the attention span of a gnat that just came to see the shop tour, there you go. I put it in like the first 30 seconds of the video for you. But if you want to stick around and get more in-depth on my shop and why I have things laid out the way that I do, stick around. And this is also, just full disclosure, this is really for my own documentation here. Just so I can come back 5 years from now, look at this video and assess and see how I've changed up to that point. So that's really the whole purpose behind these videos. I hope you enjoy watching them. I usually enjoy watching other makers' videos of their shops because you can see how everybody does things, and it's super cool how everybody does it differently. So let's talk about a few things here. I'm gonna move the camera around so you're not just staring at me right here, but let's talk about shop organization first. Up until super recently, this shop was an absolute disaster. I had things everywhere. I didn't really have any system of putting things, nothing had a home. And I decided that that needed to change. So for me, I went with the French cleat system. It's been working out really, really well for me. I'm able to make a place for everything. So if I stumble upon a tool that just has a tendency to float around and doesn't have a home, I can make one real quick and get it up on the wall. I can see where it is, I know where it goes. So this system has been working really, really well for me. And organization is super hard for me. I know it's probably the same way for a lot of you, where you really gotta work at it and you have to stay disciplined to achieve the result of having a nice space to work or play in. And so I'm working on it. It's a big pitfall of mine, and it definitely affects my business in a negative way. So I've got to fix that for my family's sake, and having the ability to just quickly grab things off the wall, use them, and then put them right back has been really, really great for me. So I'm sure other systems might work better for other people, but I didn't want to invest in a ton of money in like a commercial setup. But yeah, I've seen with the racks and all that kind of stuff, to each their own. Whatever works for you, go for it. And my advice on organization, if you've been floating around and not making a decision on it for your own shop, just do it. Just pick one and do it, because you'll be so much happier when you have it looking better. By no means is this complete, but it's way, way better. So do it. That's enough about organization. All right, let's talk about tools. Let's talk about tools real quick and just kind of a recap of what I had in the old shop and what I have now. This is not going to be like going over the specs of any of the tools, but I will give my recommendations on some of them. From the storage unit shop, I was missing my joiner planer and my saw stop primarily. There are so many black houseflies that come into this shop, and I just don't understand why. There's nothing in here that smells. I guess it's just a vacuum, and because they're flying by, and when the doors open, there's just so many of them. It just drives me fucking crazy. All right, let's talk about jumping into the realm of tools. My last shop was very, very limited in what I could have because of the space and the power. So I only had 110 volts in the old shop, so therefore I couldn't use my big table saw or my joiner planer combo, and those were two of my main tools. So I have them back. I have my saw stop and I have my Hammer A341 joiner planer combo. Both of them are phenomenal. I have them on wheels. They can be moved around wherever I need them, and if the door is open and the weather is nice, they slide right out there. It makes my dust collection better, and anytime I can While we're talking about tools, I'm gonna go mobile here. I apologize for the lighting. I didn't realize that these lights were gonna negatively affect the picture, put like a blurry line in there. So I'll have to figure out better lighting. So I'm gonna try to stay on one side of the shop. I promise I'm not trying to, come on, nobody fucking cares, you fucking idiot. Take a few minutes to talk about tools, where I have them, why I have them. This is all subject to change. I kind of go through that pretty frequently with my shop where I just need to change things up. But right now it's working pretty good. So I have my 36-inch saw stop table saw. I love this thing. I didn't have access to this tool or this tool in my last shop just due to the power constraints and the space for that matter. But I love these. They're both phenomenal. They're both on wheels so I can move them wherever I want. This is my Hammer A341 joiner planer combo. It has a 16-inch capacity. It's a really, really nice machine. It changes over in like 60 seconds. It's super easy. So if you're tight on space like I am and you want a joiner and a planer, this is a great option. Look into it. They also have a smaller model as well. Good company there. Behind here are kind of my tools that I don't use frequently, but everything's on wheels so I can get to them super quickly. I have my Laguna 1412 bandsaw. That comes in waves. I don't use a bandsaw a bunch, but when I need one, it's super handy that it's right here. And then behind here, I have my Ohmtech 30-watt fiber laser, and I use that to engrave a variety of things, but mainly metal, and that gives my business a nice custom touch to it. So I definitely enjoy that, and it gets used pretty frequently. It's just that's a good storage spot for it. Moving across the tool rack here, we have all of my clamps on French cleat. I made this 66 can holder, and it's on French cleat, so I can move it wherever I want. And then we've got sandpaper. I have my track saw, my circular saw. It's not usually up that high. That was a previous take. It's usually right here in front of my face. I've got my DeWalt radio, my brad nailer 18 gauge, my measurement tools here, my squares, and then my custom apron by Leather by Dragonfly. Shout out Michelle and Patrick. They make phenomenal aprons. I don't use it as often as I would like to because I'm outside and I get hot. But like right now, it would be perfect for it. So anytime I have completely indoor projects, I'm wearing it. I can keep everything right there on me. It's very, very convenient. If you like aprons, I highly recommend them. Just above this side of the French cleat system, I have my Mr. Cool DIY mini split. I love that thing. As you can see, I have it set on 73 right now. I don't think it's 73 in here, but it's very, very comfortable. So that is a great unit for this square footage. We just put in an 18,000 BTU at my dad's shop, which is slightly bigger than this. And they're just so easy, and boom, you've got heat and air conditioning. Highly recommend. Not sponsored or anything. It's just a good product. Coming down here, I've got an 80-watt CO2 laser and a 130-watt CO2 laser. Those are both Ohmtech. Pretty good machines. I got them years ago, and they've gone up significantly in price since then, so I honestly don't know if they're worth what they cost now. So I can't really answer that question. But, you know, I'm trying to work on organization like this. Like, I've got little things for my gloves. Like, you think it's unnecessary, but it does help a lot when you have a lot of stuff. So if everything's got a spot, then it's way easier to find things, and it's just more efficient. I've got an old toolbox that was my grandfather's, so I thought I had to hold on to that when I was cleaning up the shop. And then I've got some glues that I use frequently, all my tape measures, all of my little standoffs for when I'm painting, you know, so I don't get it all over my bench, some tape and my bits, you know, everything's right here. I've got my battery rack. I've been utilizing my 3D printer to help with storage too, so that's been fun. And I've got all my batteries. They charge here, then they go here when they're fully charged. And I know they're charged. And I've got my Cobalt Quiet Tech compressor there. That's for the lasers and the CNC as well. Coming back around, right at the front, this is kind of like my main workstation, I guess. I do design work here, and also I can run the CNC and the lasers from this location. Got the drop power cord coming down. It works out really well. And then I have some of my Festool tools underneath there. And what else? I have some leather dyeing supplies for all my leather patches that I do. If you didn't know, I make custom hats. If you want some, let me know. The machine behind me is the Stepcraft Q408. This is what I upgraded to from my Shapeoko XXL desktop hobby CNC. I've had this for just about a year now, and in case you are in a similar situation that I was about a year and a half ago, deciding what bigger CNC I wanted to go with, I just want to give you my 2 cents. So this machine, when it works, when I don't have any issues with it, it's really, really great. It can cut fast, it can cut a variety of materials, and just overall, it's a really good machine. The downfalls for me, and this is just my experience, I'm not trying to badmouth any company or anything like that, I'm just giving you my experience, good or bad. And for this machine, there's been too many things that just happen with it loses connection, or it just stops running, or this and that, and I don't have any way to troubleshoot that on my own, and that's been extremely frustrating. There's very few resources, if any, for this machine on Stepcraft's website or just on the internet in general. So having to rely on support to get back to me, that's a bummer for me. And I would just keep that in mind if you want to go with this product. If you go down on a Friday or Saturday night, you might not have your answer to your question until like mid to late the following week. And as a business owner, that sucks, but it's something that you got to get past. So just beware of that. This is not a plug and play machine like advertised. There is a little learning curve if you're coming from nothing or from a hobby CNC. So just keep that in mind, but overall, great machine. I'm glad it's in here. It's really helping Lazy Lab Bakers for sure. So that's the bottom line. Another quick product in the organizational realm that I forgot to mention earlier are these fast cap track holders for my track saw system. So I have the DeWalt track. I could have 3D printed my own, but I couldn't find any that were specific to DeWalt. I could only find Festool and Makita, so I didn't want to mess around with that and waste my time if they were gonna not fit. So these are on Amazon. I can leave a link in the description if you want, and they're great. They're just screw right in the garage door. My tracks are now out of the way. They're not hanging or leaning up against the wall, bending and all that kind of nastiness. So good product there. I just forgot to mention it. And then I think lastly, I don't need to babble too much longer. I just have this cabinet here. My dad actually built that, but it houses all my stains and extra glue and epoxy if I have any. Just kind of my consumables in the liquid category and some cleaning product. In case you didn't notice, I did want to touch on 2 things that make a big difference in a shop of this size. One is a miter saw. Me being a woodworker, I use a miter saw frequently, but I don't have it here in my shop. I have it in a storage tent, a Harbor Freight storage tent, one of those 10 by 17 tents out on our concrete pad just on the other side of this door. And that's where I house my miter saw. I make most of those cuts outside because the dust collection sucks, and I just don't need that in here. 1, taking up space, and then 2, just making a mess. So all those cuts get done outside. If the weather's nasty, I just use my table saw to make cuts like that. It's not a big deal. And then lumber storage is another one. So I have some sheet goods that are next to the CNC. That's not ideal. I don't want them to be there, but that's like nicer stuff that I don't want getting ruined at all or absorbing moisture, so it stays in here. But all my other scraps and just kind of extra lumber is in that same storage tent out on the concrete pad. So that material is susceptible to humidity. It does stay dry. It doesn't get rained on, but I don't put like real nice stuff out there, and it's really kind of an eyesore. So we're looking to upgrade storage, maybe with shipping containers or stuff like that, but I can't have it in here. Otherwise this space just doesn't work. So if that's a sticking point for you as well, maybe look into external storage solutions. We live out in the middle of nowhere, so I can put this ugly ass tent out there and nobody can say anything about it. I want it gone just as much as I'm sure everybody does, but we're looking into shipping containers because I think that's going to be the best bet, not only for material for the shop, but also for just our belongings around the house, like outdoor things, lawnmower, etc. So that's what we're looking into. A big shop is not in the immediate future for us, just can't really justify it right now, and I'm okay with that. But we're gonna get there, and that is the plan for Lazy Lab Bakers, is to have a completely separate shop on our property that can be the workspace, and hopefully get a few family members involved as well. So that's the plan, but But we're just taking it one day at a time. If you've watched this entire video, I appreciate you so much. If you guys have any questions on the setup, layout, anything like that, drop them in the comments. Everything's mobile in my shop except the CNC. That's it. Everything else is on wheels. So I can move everything around, and then with the French cleat system, I can move my tools and consumables all around like that. So yeah, that's it. Again, this is mainly for my documentation, but if you happen to watch and you were entertained or it was educational in any way, cool. That's a bonus. So thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you're not subbed to the channel already and you like this video or you like our other videos, give us a sub. Why not? But thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one. I don't know when it'll be because I'm a product-based business, but maybe it'll be soon or maybe it'll be in like 5-6 months. I don't know. We'll see. See you later.